Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Gachi's Kaiman TV. Why was William Samoei Ruto crying? Why was he wiping his tears? Why did he take the handkerchief and wipe the tears in his eyes? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the third time we are seeing William Samoei Ruto crying. The first time was in 2013 after the swearing in, and I remember the way he actually cried literally. Again, he also wept. I think this time was in a church, and the first lady had to actually hold his hand and make him and actually console him. And now here at that time, in presence of the National Assembly, in presence of the Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, why did the members of parliament give William Samoei Ruto a standing ovation? It is very, very interesting. Now, before I show you that clip, and you see William Samoei Ruto literally crying and wiping his tears, I think it is important we look at this scenario. One, William Samoei Ruto uses this strategy as a political tool. A psychologist would tell you that this is what we call emotional manipulation. It is meant to actually attract people. It is meant to attract sympathy. It is meant to make people love you because you are so emotional. You are so much attached to whatever you are saying, and people can actually vote for you. It happened when William Samoei Ruto cried. Now, and when I look at the MPs who are actually very much terrified because they are very sure that they cannot be re-elected back to parliament, and I can bet, and maybe I can ask you, do you think any member of parliament will come back to parliament if elections were to be called today? Would you vote back your member of parliament? Maybe you can comment in the comment section, because I know just a few like Sifuna and Babu Wino, and maybe Gavanu Amushoba, who would actually clinch back their position back to parliament. So they are terrified. And the fact that they were actually giving William Samoei Ruto a standing ovation. You know, you give a standing ovation when somebody says something that moves the nation, when somebody gives a speech that actually captures the hearts and the minds of the nation. Now, looking at William Samoei Ruto's tears, one would ask many questions. This is the same president who told the police to shoot the demonstrators, and then after shooting them, the demonstrators would go limping to hospital and then be taken back to police cells and then to court. Where were those tears, ladies and gentlemen, when William Samoei Ruto was saying this? Where were those tears when the Gen Zs were actually being murdered by the police? When people were being actually captured by the police, others dying in police cells? We do not see William Samoei Ruto crying. These are the issues that can make the president cry. Now, when you look at these tears, you realize also the tears were missing when the Gen Z were actually kissed by bullets when they were demonstrating. Those tears were actually missing. We have also seen mothers being detained in hospitals for lack of money, for lack of anything. They cannot be able to clear the bills. Where are those tears? These are the questions that would make one ask these questions. Where are the tears when actually the country is sinking because of corruption? Where are those tears when you see the policemen taking money along the roads? Where are these tears when our roads are in bad shape? Where are these tears when we see contracts being given to shoulder contractors and run away doing shoulder work and substandard work? Where are those tears, ladies and gentlemen? The tears are missing when we have very bad situations. Now, talking about the state of the nation, one does not actually need to give a good speech like he gave. You know, William Samoei Ruto is very good at oratory skills. And if actually development was being measured in terms of good speech, William Samoei Ruto would score an A. But the true state of the nation is in people's faces. You look at Kenyans, you see the gloomy faces. The real state of the nation can be seen at Kiadutu slums, can be seen at Kawagware, can be seen at the slums. That is the real situation. That is the true state of the nation. The true situation can only be given. And you know what is happening here? It is the president who was actually blowing his trumpet. When even those affordable houses, we know that they are being converted to Airbnb. Some people are buying them. And if you look at them, people who are buying these houses, you agree with me, it is not the common mwananchi. Sio mtu wa kawaida. Jaribu uone kama utapata kwa wale watu wananunua hizi nyumba ni the people who are in government, the people who have a lot of money. So what is happening is that these houses, they are benefiting the people. And now when you look at it, when you talk about the country moving like Japan and reaching Singapore and so on and so forth, well, we know very well that something like corruption in Japan is a capital offense. But in Kenya, corruption is the order of the day. Where are those tears? Ladies and gentlemen, watch William Samoei Ruto here shedding tears.
Mau Summit Kericho Kisumu, Kisumu Busia, Mau Summit Eldoret Malaba, Athi River Namanga, Karatina Nanyuki Isiolo, Makutano Embu Meru Maua, Mtwapa Malindi Mombasa, all the way to Lungalunga, Kericho Kisii Migori Isabenia, and Nakuru Nyahururu Karatina, Kisii Oyugis Ahero, the Northern Pipers, James Kishuru Roads, Bomas Karen Gong, and Bomas Ongata Rongai Kiserian, including Gong Isinya, and Naivasha to Kikuyu, among many other key corridors nationwide. This infrastructure drive will also include extending the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu and eventually to Malaba. And that exercise, ladies and gentlemen, is beginning in January. In just 2 months, we will be beginning that process. Honorable members, estimates indicate that achieving Honorable members,